All right. What is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode Podcast Interview. Every single week, I interview top entrepreneurs, top real estate professionals, and straight up top badasses out there dominating their space. And today, guys, we got another amazing rock star guest here on our podcast. So today we have a new real estate agent, or a newer real estate agent that's absolutely on fire. Her first full year in the business, did 39 home sales, 16 million in gross volume sales. So really stoked and honored to have Heather Allum on the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. So we got introduced by, mutual friend, your brokerage owner, Melanie. And, she's like, hey, you got to have this lady on the podcast, man. She's just absolutely crushing it. And, I know you're extremely busy and it was tight to even get here, because you're so busy to make room for this. So we really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, again, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So let's talk about, what you did before you got into real estate. So we'll just kind of go through your journey. So what did you do before you got in real estate? And then what led you, why real estate? What led you to real estate?
Okay. So I came from the medical field. I was working as a nurse in a concierge family practice. Me, my doctor, 600 patients, one other doctor, his nurse, just a small facility. And before that, I was working in urology in a large practice in Gainesville, Georgia. So what brought me into real estate? Well, when COVID hit, a lot of, I get attached to my patients. A lot of people were passing away due to COVID and underlying diseases. So I decided I wanted to do something to help people that, was a little bit happier.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Okay. So then, so you decide to get in real estate, having some challenging times there, going through that, which I can only imagine, what that was like. You jump into real estate. So walk us through, so what time frame, just so we have a time frame, what was this, 2021, 2022-ish?
I got my license February 2021. I was trying at that time to do the nursing and, kind of part-time work, real estate. Okay. So I was trying like Facebook leads, stuff like that. And, it really wasn't doing good. So what I needed to do was, to focus primarily on real estate. So my husband told me, okay, he's like, I'm going to give you 6 months. He says, quit your job. He's like, go ahead and I want you to dive right in and see if you can make it. And if you don't, you can go back to work in 6 months. So in October of 2021, I switched brokerages. I switched to First Class Real Estate Premier Group. And, I didn't really know anybody because I'm from a small town, moved to the city, didn't really know anyone besides like my patients and stuff. So I didn't have a network. So I joined a company that provided, some lead services, platforms and all. And I, got started, got on those platforms, and then I closed my first deal. I think my first 2 deals at the end of December, and then 2022 was just nonstop closing deals. So.
Yep. Okay. So then was it 2022 that you closed those 39 homes, or was it like
39 homes? Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was, 39. Yeah. So that wasn't even a full year then.
No. 20. Well, I mean, I started really took off October of 2021. Closed my first deal December, and then the full year of 2022, I only actually worked 10 months. I went out of the country for the last 2 months of the year, and I did the 39 homes and 16 million.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, congrats on that. So then, okay. So you went from, part-time to being able to focus on full-time. So you had all of your focus, energy, and attention there. But then it also sounds like, you with the company switch, now you've got some more structure, training, opportunities being provided for you. Was it a combination of those things, or what do you think really allowed that difference to propel? And the reason why I'm asking this question is because a lot of people that are watching or listening to this are in that situation right now, and they're just trying to think of how the heck do I go out there and just get this thing to take off?
Absolutely. I get calls from people every day asking me that question. If I had not switched to the company that did provide the lead platforms that I could join, then it would have probably gone a different direction because I didn't know anybody. It would have probably just taken more time to really get going. So I think it's a combination of everything
Okay.
that really it got me going. Yeah. And
Yep.
you really need to be able to dedicate your time. It's hard to do it part-time. I mean, people do it, they do great at it. But it's much better if you can do it full-time.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Because this isn't, the joke. It's not even a joke. It's just the reality. It's like, it's in like a job or a career. It's like a lifestyle, in real
Exactly.
estate. Yeah. We're always on. And, okay. So then from there, now what were the lead platforms? And I don't know if they're the same today or if it's changed, but which ones, because everybody's always wondering, okay, what are the best converting leads? What are the lead platforms that you have been on that have been best overall for you?
Oh,
Hey, Joshua Smith here. I hope that you are enjoying this podcast interview. Hey, real quick, and we'll get back to this interview in just here in a moment. But I wanted to let you know, look, if you are a real estate agent, if you are a team leader, if you are a brokerage owner, and maybe your business is down, maybe it's stagnant, maybe it's growing, just not at the pace that you want it to grow at. It's like you're operating down here, but your potential is way up here. You just don't know exactly what to do to get you from exactly where you're at to where it is that you want to go. Now, if that is you, I invite you to schedule a 100% free, 100% zero pressure coaching strategy call with me personally. This is going to be a 1 hour long Zoom call. And here's what we're going to break down. We're going to break down where your business is currently at, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are, what you are currently doing, what the biggest obstacles are that you are facing. Then from there, I'm going to map out and break out exactly what I recommend that you do to get from where you're at to where you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient, profitable manner possible. So by the end of this coaching call, you are going to know exactly what you must do, what you must execute on to, again, get to from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. So I 100% got your back. I got you covered. I will get you dialed in. If you want to take advantage of this, go to www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call. Now, full disclosure, we're going to spend about 50 minutes going through all that, making sure that we get you dialed in. And at the last 10 minutes, yes, I'm going to spend a few minutes letting you know about my coaching program, what it entails. And look, if it works for you, great. Not, that's okay too. We can still be friends. You have my word that you will know exactly what to do to get from where you're at to where you want to go. I will make sure that this coaching call is extremely valuable, extremely powerful for you to eliminate all that guesswork and get your business dialed in. I got your back. I 100% got you covered. So if you want to take advantage of that, again, www.gsdmode.com/Zoom call.
okay. Well, people argue with you about this every day, but I am still going to say Zillow and Opcity are my favorite. My company has the option to, you can go with a lot of others as well, but Zillow and Opcity are definitely my favorite. I think that like my first year, like 20 something of those were Zillow, and they ranged from like, I'd say $100,000 up to a $4.4 million home. And then Opcity, I think I closed 10 my first year with them. And then from there, it has just progressed because now, I'm getting referrals from all those clients that have closed, and they're sending me their friends or family and everybody. And even some of them are coming to me to purchase, second homes or, whatever. So it's really worked out well.
Yeah. And that's the amazing thing is people don't realize how quick that referral business starts to kick in. Because we're only talking 2 years. Most people think, oh, the referral business is going to be, 5 years, 6 years, but you do a great job, you follow up, you stay in touch. So in a couple of years, that's already starting to take off for you.
Right, exactly.
Okay. So then, it's okay, getting leads. Like, look, I can have agent A over here and agent B over here on my team, give them the same leads, get two totally different results.
Big.
Right. It's, because I hear all the time of, oh, I just need more leads. I'm like, yeah, I mean, leads are good. Leads are important, but it's, what do you do with those leads?
No, you have to follow up with those leads. You've got to stay on them. I mean, yeah, they can give you a great lead, but if you don't focus on them and follow up with them ever so often, they're just going to forget about you. And when they actually find a home that they do like, they're going to go to someone else. So, or, press the button and you'll miss that lead. So definitely you got to follow up with them. I stay on them. I mean, there's some that I'm closing this year that I've had for 2 years, that I've just been following up and put them on, set them up on a GMLS search, where that they start receiving properties that meet their criteria. And like I said, just follow up.
So can you walk us through, what that looks like? Like, I mean, what your process is, because I mean, I mean, with Zillow Leads, are most of these like live transfer?
Not all of them. I mean, some of them are, but there's like 5 different ways that you can receive a lead. You might receive a lead and it's telling you to text them. You might receive a lead. It's telling you, they're not on the phone right now, but pick the time that you can take them. And then you would reach out to them or whatever. And then sometimes it is live. So, the goal is, first of all, to meet the client. So when you get that lead, you want to get an appointment set and you want to meet them as soon as possible. Okay, because after you meet them and you realize they get to know you, then chances are they'll work with you. I mean, I've met with them. They actually had agents, but I went and showed them that day, and they were like, we'd rather work with you. So I mean, it just got to meet them, follow up with them, and just do everything you can to make them want to work with you.
Yeah, yeah. Because one of the differences, so like within my team, and I'm in Phoenix, but we have a Zillow Flex account as well. Don't really do any Op City, but do a lot of Zillow. And okay, like if I'm getting a Google pay-per-click or a Facebook lead, I mean, each lead source could be slightly different as far as what the follow-up protocol timeline. So like, okay, like with a Facebook lead, it's a longer term nurture and it's a little bit easier. Like with, our objective is, at least internally, is to usually set the appointment to meet first for a buyer consultation, then go out there and start showing homes. But let's speak specifically to Zillow, or Op City. I'm guessing that your process is maybe pretty darn similar to both, right? Because they're different companies, but essentially leads are coming in the same way, same style. Okay, so kind of walk us through. So you're like, let's just say it is, a live transfer, okay, so immediately, like, you're not necessarily trying to book a buyer consult first. Like your objective there is just to set the appointment on the home that they're inquiring about. Kind of walk us, because I want to break down these because I find so much of it is process driven. It's not the lead source itself. It's how and what are we doing with that lead to maximize the conversions. So if we were breaking down your process, okay, so the lead comes in, kind of walk us through. So you're trying to set the appointment immediately.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a script that we actually follow. So the lead comes in, it comes in with a property that they're interested in. Our goal is to go ahead and set that appointment to find out exactly what they are looking for, so that we can, because you really want to have 3 homes to show them that day. Okay. Your first appointment, you should try to have 3 homes to show them. So you find out what their criteria is, find out what is their reason for moving, and then, you get the appointment set. You go to the appointment, and that during your appointment at that time, you're able to get to know them and find out exactly what's going on, what they're looking for. You want to talk to them then about, have they been working with a lender? Are they approved and, ready to go? If not, then, you let them know that you have resources. You can, point them in the right direction. So get an appointment, show them, work on pre-qualification, and then from there, by your first appointment, you'll really know what they're looking for, and then you can set them up to find, hopefully the next visit you'll have the right home.
Yep, love it. So then when you're saying, okay, we want to show them 3 properties, are you on there, okay, you set the appointment, and then do you offer like hey, while we're there, there's a couple other properties in the area that I think you might be really interested in. Do you have time to maybe check those out as well? Like, are you trying to offer that up there, or is that something that you're doing once you're face-to-face meeting them?
No, while you're on the call, that's part of your script actually, is, what most of my buyers find helpful is that I try to add a few other properties to this so that we have something to compare. What are your must-haves in your new home? They'll give you an idea, then, they'll go over what they need, their bedrooms, the bath, You can kind of look at the one that they already have chosen and see kind of what they're looking for. And then you want to go and you want to find at least 2 other homes. And sometimes they may have others that they will send to you. And, you tell them, okay, so at the end of the call, you're like, okay, so our appointment is scheduled for whatever date, whatever time. I'll let you know which home to meet at first. Sometimes they have a problem with that. Sometimes they only want to see one home. That's fine. Meet them and see where you can go from there. But otherwise, most of them are happy to see a couple other homes. Occasionally they just don't have time for it. It's just that one, so that's fine too. But try your hardest to get a couple extra homes in there.
Yeah, the important thing there, just getting face to face, because I mean, we know the stats. It's like 88% of buyers go the first agent that they meet with and connect with in person. So then it sounds like you're kind of using that first showing is also kind of like a mini buyer consultation too. Is that a correct assumption?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. You go over everything with them then and there. So
Okay. So then okay, so you're going, so I mean, I guess with that, when I said mini buyer consult, are you actually like, hey, I mean, like breaking out of materials at the kitchen island, or is it just more casual conversation as we're walking through of qualification needs, timelines, or is it like, hey, while we're here, let me present materials at the kitchen island and try to get a buyer broker agreement signed?
No, casual conversation. We just go through and I asking them questions as we're going through, find out, make sure that they're not working with an agent, because sometimes they are, but sometimes even if they are, like I said, they'll still go with you because you took the time out of your day to show them home whenever they wanted to see it. Their agent might have been like, oh no, I'm busy, I can't. So, and as far as the buyer brokerage agreement, I don't do it. I mean, we don't actually get that signed that first consultation. Usually, if I'm being honest, I get my clients to sign it whenever I'm writing their first offer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And there's lots of different philosophies on that. But obviously like what you're doing is crushing it, right? So it's like, just keep doing more what's working, right? So, okay. So then, cause Zillow's a different beast in that, in a perfect world, we could find out they're working with another agent and then just save the time of, okay, we'll have your agent go show you the property. But with Zillow, it's like, we need to have the appointment, set, but then we get rewarded with, more leads, more opportunities.
Exactly.
But something that you just said of like, look, hey, you just had a client or a lead that was working with another agent, but they met with you and liked you better and decided to work with you. So it's still still a good gamble to go out there and have that initial appointment.
Exactly. Yeah, I've had many of them have actually switched from their agent to me because their agent didn't have time to take them on a weekend, on a Sunday. I work all the time. I will go out and show you a property any time of the day. I don't look at your budget. Like I said, 20,000, 4.4 million. Don't care about your budget. We're going to go look, and hopefully we'll find you a home. And they respect that. They can tell the difference because a lot of them are like, oh, my agent's not available today. So I'm like, well, I'm available and I'm a buyer's agent as well. So they're like, oh, well, why don't we just work with you then?
Yep. No, that's awesome. I love that. So then, okay, so I'm going to even take a step further back of, so if it is a call, like what do you do, cause like on some of these platforms like Zillow, it like might ring a bunch, like 10 agents at once in the team. Right, or within the company. What do you personally do to try to maximize your answer rate? Because if you're not picking up the phone and going to somebody else, obviously then you can't do the rest of it.
No, you got to be on point. Like when that phone rings, you better answer it immediately. There's a shortcut on your phone. As soon as the notification pops up, you can click claim. And it seems like if you do that, like about 95% of the time, you'll get the call.
Okay. So you're being very intentional at making sure that your answer rate is high.
Exactly. Yeah, you want a high answer rate. You want to set appointments. Like that's very important. They do listen to your calls. You need to set an appointment while you're on the call. You need to, and then after that, you need to be showing them homes. While you're showing them homes, you need to be working on, okay, are we approved? If not, reach out to, give them some resources to reach out to. And from there, and of course, you got to be closing deals. And then
Okay.
you'll start receiving all sorts of good leads.
Yeah. Are you, and if you're not, it's okay. Cause I know being on podcasts is, especially this is your first podcast. So it can be,
Yeah.
a little nervous, with this. Are you okay with like going through kind of a sample of like when you answer that phone, just like an example of, how you answer the phone, what that, like how quickly you're going, like, I mean, just going through your kind of initial basic script, that you go through.
Okay, yeah, I'll go through it. Melanie might kill me, but it'll be okay. Okay, so yes, as soon as the phone rings, click it as quick as you can, and then it's like, you'll see, of course, all the details, the home that they're wanting to tour, and usually it tells you when they want to tour it, okay? So if you're available at that time, then you can go ahead and say that time. But if not, try to, ask them if they can do a time that you have available. So it's like, hi, this is Heather with First Class Real Estate. I'm a local agent in whatever city they have. You want to say, I see that you're interested in whatever the property address is. It says, would you be able to tour it at, and then whatever time, okay? And they'll say, oh, yes, or whatever, And you're like, okay, great. It's like what most of my buyers find helpful is that I try to add a few other properties to this one so that we have something to compare. And it's like, so what are your must-haves in your new home? And then, of course, they'll start going over the criteria with you. You listen, just take notes on that. And of course, it does record, so you can go back and listen if you don't have a pen and paper handy. And then from there, you would just be like, okay, so, the plan is, or no, just to recap, we're going to meet Saturday at 1 o'clock and I'll let you know which address to meet me at. And then you would say, and I'll send you a text message with my personal information so we can stay in touch. You're like, okay, great. And then another thing, they do get to review you. They do send out surveys after your call. So it's like, is there anything else I could do to make this call a 5-star experience for you? And they'll say, no, whatever, you did great. And it's like, okay, I'm looking forward to helping you find your new home. And then that's it. Okay.
Yep.
But you want to say the 5 stars because you want them to know, because some people might give you a 1 because they think 1 is best. And then, you're just, putting that in their head that 5 stars is what you need.
Yep. I love it. So then, okay. So, I mean, you were pretty much, brand new in that from, sales experience, brand new to going full time, brand new to this lead source.
Mhm.
So like how often and like what did it look like for you preparing? Like did you rehearse these scripts? What did you do to prepare yourself to start having good success out of the gate?
No, in the very beginning, I kept that script with me at all times.
Yeah.
Like going down the road, and reading off the script, however I needed to do it. But no, I rehearsed it and I went over it constantly, making sure that I had it down. And then, when I started, I was getting, God, 15 calls a day, okay, from Zillow. Like I would have one that I was talking, and then, one coming through, call waiting. So it was like 12 calls a day. So it didn't take long to totally, have it down.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Well, and the reason why I asked is, and I had the assumption in my head that, okay, you practice a lot, right? Because it's to get the results that you've gotten. I always look at it, okay, professionals are always training when amateurs were once trained, right? So, and it's professionals get paid, amateurs play to pay. And to get the results that you've gotten so fast, I'm like, okay, you're somebody that's taking this serious and you're treating this as a true profession. Okay, so then what do you do? Do you get a big like like what happens if somebody no shows for these appointments?
That does happen, but I am pretty big on following up with them, and I'll check in with them the night before, make sure that they respond to me, and then I try to check in 2 hours ahead of time. Okay, but there are times that you will get there. You'll be sitting there for 10 minutes, and you'll check in, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. We're going to have to reschedule." It's just part of the job.
Yep. Yeah, it's just something we track, and you just know
Yeah.
that, hey, I got a 75% show rate, and you just know that, and you can anticipate it. And okay, so then when they show, right? Like, okay, if they show the house, they're interested in the house, or one of the others that you show them, they're hot to trot. Okay, I think that most kind of understand. Okay, that's kind of those are the easier ones, the layups, the easier to convert and close. But what about those that you meet and show? Like you mentioned just a moment ago that, hey, you've got some that now that you've been at this for almost 2 years, that you've been following up with, that are now converting. And I found that the best converters at any lead source are like really good at the front end, really good at the mid game, but also really good at the long game.
Mhm.
But most in our industry just aren't good at that long-term follow-up. So let's just say,
Right.
I don't know, somebody, I mean, yeah, they are a valid buyer, but maybe they're a year out, 2 years out. What is that like? If they're not ready to go right now, once you've identified their time frame, let's just say they are 6 months or a year plus out, what does that ongoing follow-up look like? From phone calls to, just general automation that you do to stay in touch with them to ensure that you end up converting them.
Okay. Well, I personally try to check in with them, at least, when I find out that, it's going to be a year from now. I personally try to check in once a month at least. However, we have KB Core. I have that set up. It is sending them properties, and like if they click on a property, then look at it quite a few times, of course, it's going to send them an automatic message from me. And, and then also I set them up on a, MLS search with all their criteria. So they don't get to forget who I am.
Yep. Yep. I love that. Yep.
Know that I am still there and I'm still waiting. So, I mean, I have quite a few now that, they're coming up in the summer, they're going to, but, like I said, I mean, they've been with me since the beginning. So, and people have to work on their credit. Sometimes their credit's just not good enough to get what they want. They want to be able to get, they have higher expectations than what they're able to get at that moment. And then there's people, that need to save for down payment. And then of course, I have resources for everything. I mean, I have lenders who can get you approved with a lower credit score. I have lenders who can, do the financial assistance and all. So, I mean, I just try to help them in every way I can, and I don't let them forget who I am.
Yep. Love it. So this next question is only going to benefit those that are watching and listening that are, Zillow Flex clients, or partners. Okay. ZHL, I mean, that's something that, getting those that you don't listen and watch and that don't know what that means. It's Zillow Home Loans, and there's a certain percentage of transfers that we have to do for ZHL. But man, it can be tough getting everybody to really focus on that and hit some of those numbers sometimes. Like what is kind of your internal process, make sure that you're getting as many as you can to also look into and shop with ZHL.
Okay. Well, of course, if they work with us, then Zillow Home Loans will pay for their appraisal. They also will, they're guaranteed to close in 21 days. If not, they'll give them a certain amount. So I try to use that to help. But a lot of times people's credit score is just not good enough to go with Zillow Home Loans. So I always have backups as well.
Yep. Okay, perfect. So
My transfer rate is pretty well. I actually just got through having meetings with Zillow Home Loans for being one of the top transfers. So.
okay, yep. So then, okay, so even let's just say you're like, okay, well, are you paying cash, or is this something that you need to obtain a loan for, or get financing for? We're getting financing. Okay, have you talked with the lender yet, or do you want me to provide you some different options of lender? And maybe they're like, well, yeah, we've already been talking with the lender. Then in that case, are you still trying to offer them to check with ZHL just to see and compare? Like, what does that look? Yeah, okay, yeah. Because what I'm trying to break down is like, what is your pitch here? Because obviously you're crushing it there too, and I want to, because it's those that are watching this that don't have Zillow Flex accounts don't know the importance of this. But if you have a Zillow Flex account, like this is something that they are really pushing.
Yes, exactly. So no, I always, whether they're cash, whether they're, they're already speaking with a lender or whatever, it's like, it's always good to shop for rates. And then of course cash, if you have a little bit of a mortgage, you get to claim that on your taxes, a good tax deduction. So that's what I try for.
Okay.
And I mean, they might push back on it, and that's fine. But you would believe it or not, sometimes they're like, okay, let's see.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, ask and you shall receive, right? You don't know,
Right.
if you don't ask, it's always going to be a no, and you're selling the value. And it's, hey, there's zero obligation, no commitment. It's just good to go out there and get different options. And sometimes people offer better rates, better programs, better. And then, like you mentioned, they do what you pay for your appraisal. They do have some guarantees. So you're selling the value adds, and then from there it's yes, no, whatever. Yeah, right. Okay. So then, all right. So when it comes to your time, because I mean it's when we're working all these buyers, buyers can be time consuming.
Mhm.
Buyers take sometimes 2-3 times the amount of time as maybe a listing. It can be hard to balance all of this, balance taking the calls and then doing all of this. How do you structure your day, and your overall, like, what does that look like as far as being able to keep all this, and not just keep this up, but you're growing it?
Right. Well, I first thing in the morning, after the gym and everything, I get started on my emails. Sorry about that. I get started on my emails, following up with everybody, checking in to see what's going on. And then I have my day usually already planned out. So I do it the night before. And so I try to at least be out at showings by at least 10 o'clock every day. And I try to do 10 to 5 if I can help it, or if I can, but I'll show later if I need to. And then in the event that I have so many that day that I can't do it, I have some preferred agents that I will get to open a door for me, like through Show On Me. So,
Okay. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Those that don't know what Shawami is, can you just kind of explain what that is?
It's just an app for agents where they can go, they'll do anything from your final walkthroughs, from they'll open the door basically for you and let the client see the home. So,
Yep. It's kind of like Uber in a way, for like you just, plug in the property, show any
exactly.
agents that are available, and then, I mean, what's the average price for showing in your area? Like $35 or?
It's probably about 40. I mean, I try not to do it unless I have to. However, when I was out of the country for 2 months in 2022, I actually closed a couple of deals through using agents from Showami to go show my few houses for me. So,
Yep. Yeah, it's a pretty cool service for sure.
yeah.
So, okay, so then, when you're showing all these, you got all these clients, you're showing all these homes, you're always, because how do you, like, okay, if a Zillow call comes in and you're out showing homes, do you answer that call, or are you just missing those opportunities on those days?
No, well, actually, I do. If it's like if it's not somebody that I know really well already, that I'm very familiar with, then I pause it whenever I'm gone because it's not good to miss calls for Zillow. You never want to miss their calls, and like Opcity, same thing. You can pause it yourself, but for Zillow, you can just reach out to your broker and they can pause it for you for a couple hours or whatever. But
Yeah.
no, I actually had another agent tell me, he's like, I can fake a cough and go answer a call if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because it is, and I get it. I understand some agents that are like, well, hey, I'm going to give my clients all my attention, and I get that. But then from a business perspective, it's like, then the agents that don't figure out that balance, it's like they just have this roller coaster, because then when they're slow, they can answer the phones, they get flooded then, but then when they're busy, then that falls off. So you're kind of balancing that, but you're waiting till, like, okay, if it's an initial first showing,
Yeah.
maybe you're pausing them.
Right. Yeah. Because you get very familiar with them. They're going to run around and look at everything and then you might be able to answer call. I try not to do that, but I do know that some people actually do that.
Yep. Yep.
I try to give them my utmost attention because, they're important. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, okay. So, you've got a structured day. You're planning out your day. It sounds like you're not showing up at the office. So what am I going to do today?
No, no, I don't.
Like,
I don't get those days very often. I'm not gonna lie to you. If
yep.
I have those days and Zillow's slow for some reason, Op City, they've been going through a lot of transitioning. So there were some times that they were slow. I'm just following up with my other people. and, trying to see, okay, did something new hit the market? We can go see. So, I mean, I have appointments every day.
Yep. Yep. Love it. Love it.
Never
Yeah.
leave, never end today without an appointment for tomorrow. It's one of our slogans.
That's what, oh, that's like a company slogan.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's awesome. I love that. Absolutely love that. Okay. So then, when it comes to, well, I know you mentioned Zillow and Op City, been your kind of primary, sources that you had the most success with, at least initially. Are there other things that you've been having success with? Because I mean, the market, well, I guess since you've been in, well, no, it's changed quite a bit since you've been in, because you got in 2021, right? It's kind of like middle 2022 into 2022. Yeah, that's where things just transaction volume kind of fell off of a cliff, overall. I mean, are there some, additional things that you've started to add that are, also working well for you in addition to these sources?
Well, I mean, of course, there's other lead platforms. They're not for me, but there's other things that I want to do. I want to get better with marketing, and I mean, I have a friend who is using YouTube videos to generate leads, and I mean, she is doing amazing. So that is something that I would also like to, tap into as well.
Yep. Yep. Love it. So then, okay. So then, when it comes to, cause now you're getting referral business,
Mhm.
right. And, it's like, look, it doesn't matter always how good the transaction goes. If we don't stay in touch with them after the fact, like the chance of getting referrals is probably pretty slim. So like, what does that look like? Like so many in our industry talk about, delivering great service, and then you gotta, but they don't really define what that means. So if
Right.
you're getting a lot of referral business this quickly, I'm guessing that, yeah, you make it a great experience, but then I'm guessing, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing then that you have an intentional ongoing follow-up protocol to stay in touch with them to keep that referral business growing.
Absolutely. Yes. I personally reach out to them, like a couple days later to make sure that the home, everything is going good, that they're happy, still love the home. Then maybe another week later, I'll reach out to them again, send them a text, I would say, just to check in. And then after that, I have them set up on my CRM. They will receive a message ever so often checking in, and they'll get a, happy anniversary, 1 year anniversary in your home, and every holiday I reach out. So like, I stay in touch with my people very well.
Yep. Yep. So you're having what, about, I don't know, half a dozen maybe conversations a year, or is that
Yeah, exactly.
okay? Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So then, so you mentioned, I'm kind of all over the place here and I apologize about that, but you mentioned that, okay, if you got somebody in there a year out, you're going to keep calling them every 30 days, but what if, okay, you meet with somebody, but you don't know exactly, they're still kind of, all over the place, or, well, let's go with that first. Like if you don't have a timeline established with them yet, like what does your kind of ongoing follow-up look like that to be able to establish that timeline?
Okay. Well, yeah, because a lot of them, they don't have a timeline yet. Yes, I try to follow up with them and see, how, you know, do you think that you're, getting closer to ready to purchase a home or whatever? And then you have people who actually just want to look at homes, and they want to look at homes every single weekend, and they have no intent to purchase whatsoever. But I think that one of our main things that we try to do is for that first visit, people need to start working on their pre-approval. Okay. So that right there will show you if they're serious or if they're not. Okay. And so working on the pre-approval, and if they're not quite ready for that, or they're working on their credit or something like that, I still follow up with them every few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what about like the ones that, let's just say either maybe they just go, they no show you, ghost you, or you're not able to set up that initial appointment. Maybe they just call it the question, but you're not able to set that initial appointment. What is the kind of follow-up cadence with those go until you can get that first appointment?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, personally, I try for a little bit, but then after that, they are set up in KV Core with property alerts. And I basically keep on until they tell me to stop.
Yeah.
So when I get a stop, I'm done. But I try to keep on until then, because you never know. I mean, somebody who's not ready now, I'm gonna need closings in 5 years. So it doesn't matter. I'm going to, try to stick with them as long as possible.
Yep. Yep. So you're with a large brokerage, and you guys get, you've got a lot of agents that are getting these same opportunities, but not everybody is having the success that you have. Yeah, I'm sure like what would you say are kind of the top mistakes that you see that those that, don't take off like you're taking off, like that they're not doing, that's causing for them to not have success?
They set limits, okay? So uh, they don't want to go any further than 30 minutes from their home. I'm not like that. I'll go anywhere. Um, and like I said, I don't care if it's land, if it's a mobile home, whatever it is, I will still show them the place, and I still want to work with them.
Yeah.
I just don't set any limits.
So what's your territory? Like, I mean, are you like having to sometimes drive like an hour?
Yes, I've driven an hour and a half. So
Okay.
yeah. And if it's a big enough, like if they're a serious enough buyer, I would say, then I might go further, or else, I'll have somebody, help me with that.
So, and even if it's I don't know if these exist in your area, but a $40,000 piece of land or mobile home, or like you mentioned, a $4.5 million deal, like
Yeah.
you just treat everybody the same, every opportunity the same.
Same quality of care for everybody.
Yep. Yep. No, I love that. Yep. Because I mean, that is a challenge. And I'm not gonna lie, like with our Zillow, that's a challenge, man. It's like, I can see it direct, land. It's like people don't want to take it,
Yeah, you'll hear the phone. You'll hear
Yeah.
the phone, like it rings, you'll see it. Like it's sometimes, if you can't catch it, you'll see it's the same one coming through. I'm like, oh my God. It's running.
But from you in your shoes, right? Like that. I mean, like I get, okay, hey, I got to do this because I got to, prove to my team lead that I'm hungry. And if I take the good with the bad, they'll give me bigger opportunities, so there's that kind of thought process. But for you personally, like you found it to be fruitful even outside of that.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, those people who have the 40,000, well, I mean, like last year I closed one $20,000. I got to represent the buyer and the seller, but hey, you know what? They're wanting to buy more land. So, I mean, like they're wanting to buy, 100 acres. So, how many 100-acre properties can you find for $40,000? That's going to be a higher budget. So, I mean, eventually it will work out. And like I said, they're going to send you people, and, that's the way I look at it. They're going to send me somebody else.
Yep. Now okay, like you mentioned, you're, and this is going to be maybe a silly question, but I'm asking it because it's, the vast majority of our industry, like they know what a CRM is. A lot of them might even have one that their company or that they pay for, but very few that I meet and actually talk with, like actually diligently use it. But it sounds to me like, okay, like you understand the power of it. It's the most important tool in our daily insider real estate business. So with that, I mean, how important to you is your CRM and managing that on a daily basis? And then from there, like how much time on an average day would you say that you're in your CRM?
No, no, I mean, no, there may be a couple days that I don't, access my CRM, but no, I think it is very important every time you have a lead come in to make sure that client is in the CRM and that they are set up on alert for whatever criteria they're looking for. And then of course you can set them up on, so that they'll start getting automatic messages and texts and emails. So I think that's very important. Anything that you learn about them, like their birthday, anything like that, I think it's very important to put that in there. I would not say I might access mine for 20 minutes every other day, or,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Yep.
I just make sure everybody's set up. That's how I do it. Like, because, I might get 5 or 6 leads today. Tomorrow I go in, make sure they're set up on a search. So that way, I'm staying in contact with them. And then of course, whenever I have listings, I boost my properties. When I do an open house, I boost my properties. And that's basically what I use mine for.
Yep. So
A
how are
lot
you
of
doing? How are
never
you doing
use.
follow-up calls then? Are you doing them out of the CRM, or are you just putting people somewhere else for like to remind you, like, let's just say you said before, okay, if they're a year out, I'm going to call them every 30 days. Are you having your CRM task you to remind you, and then you're calling them and then updating the task and updating the notes?
Yeah, you can set up ours, you can set up smart campaigns, and it will, it tells you like how often it will, follow up with a person.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So then, okay. So then, how much do you pay attention to like your numbers, your KPIs? Because it's like, okay, Zillow has like different distinct numbers that they want to see us, performing. And look, I'm a big believer that, hey, your tracking system and your CRM, most two important systems that every agent must get dialed in their business right away. Like how are you are you paying attention to that data, and are you sitting there saying, okay, where the areas of improvement are at inside my business?
Yeah, I mean, I pay attention to pretty much everything. I'm not like, that's not all I focus on, because my main focus is being out there with my clients, and getting them ready to buy a house. But I try to pay attention to all my numbers. And I would say the first year, my first year in real estate, I didn't really think anything about it, but nonstop on Facebook, I'm getting all this like where, our transaction coordinator is posting, I'm number one, like no, most of the year for the month, Heather's number one. Like, I didn't even think anything about that. Now I try to make sure that it's out there and, on my social media so that people can see. But like that whole year, I was nonstop number one. Like,
Yeah.
it was great. Yeah. So I try to make sure now that that's posted, because I went to my, where people have tagged you and whether or not you want to add it to your timeline. And I had like, I don't even know how many that were like, to add on there stating that I was number one or number whatever. And, agent of the month, agent of the week. So
Yeah.
I'm not, I focus on everything, but I don't, I just try to make sure if I'm selling homes, I know I'm doing okay.
Yep. 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 I love it. And you're obviously doing things right, So, also then, I mean, you're continuing to grow. Like what's your target and your goal for this year for in 2024? And then what would you say your kind of long-term goals and visions are for your business?
Okay, so I am wanting to get up to 20 million. I want to do 20 million in sales. And
So,
that's my goal. Um, so I hope that I can do that this year. And then long term, maybe being a team leader and owning my own, first class franchise. So
yeah. Hell yeah. I love that. Yep. So then, all right. So, Heather, before we go, I got one last question for you, but before we get into that, because everybody that's listening to this, we're all realtors, real estate agents, some TVers, broker owners, but we're all attached to the real estate space. So, if anybody, I don't know, wants to follow you or, hopefully they, have referrals for your market, or if they have referrals for your market, like where's the best place for people to get in touch with you? And also are you in Atlanta, Georgia? What is a specific market that you work?
yeah, Metro, all of Metro, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, perfect. So any of you that, have clients moving, relocating to Atlanta, Georgia, and then where is the best place if somebody does, and maybe they just want to, follow you on social or watch you on the success journey that you're on, or if they do have a referral to your market, like where's the best place to do that, send that to?
Mhm. Well, they can find me on Facebook, of course. And I mean, Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, however they want to find me. Heather
Okay.
All.
And your handle's just your name?
Yes.
Okay. And then when anybody that's watching or listening, if you just scroll below in the comments or show notes, I'll make sure to just have links to those. Okay. So if Heather today, knowing everything that you know now from this, short journey that you've been on here, but, very successful journey, could go back to Heather just a couple years ago when you first got licensed and you're sitting down on a park bench, with your younger version of yourself, knowing everything you know now, and give yourself, 2-3 pieces of advice that you wished you would have known that would have allowed this success trajectory to have been that much faster, what would that advice look like?
So I would say to make sure you join the right company, join a company that fits your needs. If you're new to the area, make sure that it's someone who could provide, lead platforms for you, and make sure that you have a good mentor. Melanie's great. Melanie, she's there for us all the time, like any day or night, just, to answer any questions that we might have. And just, work your butt off.
Yeah. Yep. Such powerful advice. And yeah, I mean, it's so important, because I mean, it's like you get licensed and then they're like, okay, good luck.
Yeah, you just get thrown out too. Thrown
Yeah.
out. Like,
And
no.
unfortunately, most brokerages, they don't have good training and sort of find that right mentor, like somebody like Melanie that's been there, done that, that knows what to do to create success. It's just so insanely important and such great advice. Yep, such powerful advice. And Heather, truly appreciate you taking time out of busy day to be here. This has been a ton of fun and been a lot of amazing information.
Yes, so thank you so much for having me. It was great meeting you.
Yeah, you as well.
I love the podcast, by the way. I've been watching them and I really love them. So a lot of information.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And those watching and listening, as always, truly appreciate you being here. Truly appreciate your support. Keep crushing, keep kicking ass, and we will see you next time. Peace.